Hello dear students, in today's video we are going to do a quick revision of first chapter. So let's start the chapter. First chapter we will start from significant figures. So what is significant figure? To understand this, suppose we have a metal coin whose actual mass is 10.1564 gram and there are three students A, B, C who are asked to weigh this metal coin. Student A obtained this value, okay, and student B this and student C this. So as we can clearly see that the value given by student B is more precise than the value given by student A. More precise means more closer to the actual value. Okay, so this value is more closer, as you can see, 1.1564 and 1565, and this is 1564, and this value is 1569. Okay, so there is a difference of 4 units. So we can say that the value given by student B is more precise than the value of A. And what about the student C? The value given by student C is accurate value, okay, equal to the actual mass 10.1564, 10.1564. So we can see that a number has two type of digit: last digit, which can be uncertain, and rest of the digit which are certain digits. So what is significant figure? Significant figure is the number of all digits, okay, is the number of all digits written in a number, including the last digit, last uncertain digit. Okay, so this is the significant figure. The total number of digits in a measured physical quantity is called the number of significant figures. Here are some rules to determine the significant figure. Okay, so rule number 1 is all non-zero digits are significant, means for sure that all non-zero digits will be considered as significant, like 146, all are non-zero digits, so they all can be counted as significant figure. Second point is trapped zero. Trapped zero means zero present between two non-zero digits, so always trapped zeros are considered as significant. Okay, and third is zeros placed to the left of the first non-zero digit in the given physical quantity are not significant, means zero present before a non-zero digit, first non-zero digits, okay, are considered as non-significant figure. And last point is zeros placed to the right of the decimal point are significant. So 0 after a decimal point considered as significant figure. Okay, so here I have given some examples. Next topic is exponential notation. What is exponential notation? If we have a very large quantity or a very small quantity, okay, so for the sake of simplicity we can write very large and very small numbers are generally in exponential form or a scientific notation form, okay, like capital N into 10 to the power something. Here I have written small n. For example, if we have 0.0064, it is a small number, okay, so we can write this number in an exponential form like this: 6.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Remember one thing, that whenever we displace decimal point towards the right side, our power raised with negative sign, and whenever we displace the decimal point towards the left side, our power will increase with positive sign. Okay, like 0.0064, in this number we displace the decimal point 1 2 3 three places towards the right side. So towards the right side means negative power will increase, so that's why 6.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. And in this number 150000, in this value decimal point is present here. Okay, so when we displace decimal point between two non-zero digits like 1.5 into 10 to the power something, so the value of something is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, 5 units we have displaced towards the left side, that's why positive sign plus 5. Okay, so this is the exponential notation. Next topic is rounding off, very easy topic. Okay, so rounding off, suppose we have a digit 1 point number 1.386, okay, and we want to round it off this number in 3 significant figures. Okay, so we have to remove the last number. Okay, since the last number is greater than 5, so we have to increase 8 any preceding number by 1, means it will be written as 1.39. Why? Because we removed 6 which is greater than 1, that's greater than 5, that's why we have to increase 8 by 1, so 9, 1.39. so if the rightmost digit to be removed is more than 5, the preceding number is increased by 1. Okay, and in second point here 4.334 is given, so we want to round off this number into 3 significant figures. So we have to remove the last number. Since the last number is less than 5, so no need to increase in the preceding number. So our answer will be 4.33. Means if the rightmost digit to be removed is less than 5, so the preceding number is not changed. And the last point is, suppose we have 6.35 and 6.25, and we want to round it off these two numbers in 2 significant figure. Okay, so in this number we have to remove 5. So 5, whenever we remove 5, okay, means last digit is, if the last digit is equal to 5 and we want to remove the last digit, so we have to increase the preceding number by 1 when, only when the preceding number is odd number. Okay, so in this case we have to remove 5, so it will be written as 6.4. Why? Because this is the odd number, and when we remove 5 we have to increase 3 by 1, and in this case 2 is even number, so no need to increment. So this is the law for the rounding off. Next topic is calculation involving significant figures, addition and subtraction. So during addition and subtraction we have to focus only on the digit which has the minimum number of decimal place. Okay, for example here we are adding 2.6 plus 3.44. so this number has 1 decimal place and this number has 2 decimal place. So according to the law, according to the rule, we have to report our answer up to the same number of decimal place as present in the quantity in minimum number of decimal places. That's why 2.6 we have to round it off our answer in 1 decimal place, like 2.6. okay, so our answer will be 6.0. Similarly, when we subtract 22.12 from 35.648, so our answer will 13.528. but as we can see that it has 2 decimal place and it has 3 decimal place, so we have to focus on the number which has the least minimum number of decimal places. So that's why we have to report our answer with 2 decimal places. So we have to remove this last number 8, so our answer will be 13.53, because this is the number greater than 5, so we have to increase 2 by 1. Next is multiplication and division. So in multiplication and division we have to focus on the figure on the number which has the least significant figure. Okay, for example here 46.512 into multiplied by 1.67. okay, so it has the 5 significant figure and it has the 3 significant figure. So according to the rule we have to report our answer with the least significant figure, okay, present in the calculation. So it has the least significant figure, that is 3, so our answer will be 77.7. why? Because 77.67507 it we get after the multiplication, so we have to remove all the numbers because we have to round it off with in 3 significant figure. Since 7 is greater than 5, so it will be increased by 1. So our answer will be 77.7. okay, so this is the rule for multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. Next topic is laws of chemical combination. So first law is law of conservation of mass. As it is clear from the name of the law of conservation of mass means mass will be conserved here. Okay, so according to this law, the mass of the reactant is always equal to the mass of the product. Okay, so here this is the reactant and this is the product. So here reactant is 100 gram. Okay, CaCO3 we have taken 100 gram, and it is decomposing into CaO plus CO2. The mass of CaO is 56 and the mass of CO2 is 44 gram. So when we add these two values, we can see that the total mass of the product is equal to the total mass of the reactant. So this is the law of conservation of mass, that during any physical or chemical change, mass will be conserved. Next is law of constant composition. Law of constant composition says that that a chemical compound always possesses the same number of atom. Okay, same number of atom. In any particular molecule, the number of atom always present in the same way. Okay, it doesn't depend upon the source. Okay, or from which reaction it is formed. Okay, for example, like here CO2 is formed from carbon from the addition of carbon and oxygen. So it is here CO2 has one carbon and two oxygen. Okay, like normally in second reaction CaCO3 is decomposing and forms CO2. So here CO2 is formed from the decomposition of CaCO3, but still it has a one carbon and two oxygen only. And here CO2 is formed from the decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate, but still it has only one carbon and two oxygen. So it doesn't depend the source or the process from which it is formed. So this is the law of constant composition. What is the law of constant composition? That the chemical compound always possesses the same number of atom, no matter from where it is taken or from which path it is formed. Next is law of multiple proportion. Okay, so suppose here I have taken some compounds of nitrogen and oxygen, N2O. In N2O, as we can see that the mass of nitrogen is 28. Why? Because as we know that nitrogen, atomic number of nitrogen is 7 and atomic mass of nitrogen is 14. Here N2 is written. So N2 means 14 into 2 means the mass of nitrogen in N2O will be 28. And what about the oxygen? As we know that oxygen, atomic number of oxygen is 8 and atomic mass of oxygen is 16. Okay, so in N2O oxygen is 16. So now in second case, nitrogen and oxygen is taken. Okay, so as we can see that nitrogen here is the mass of the nitrogen is 14 only, and for the mass of the oxygen is 16. Suppose we fix the mass of nitrogen 28. Okay, this is the mass which we have fixed. So if we fix the mass of nitrogen 28, okay, so in all the cases we have to take 28 gram of nitrogen. So in this case we have to multiply NO by 2. Why? Because we want 28 here. Okay, so when we multiply NO by 2, 14 multiplied by 2 and it will convert it into 28, and in the parallel condition 16 will be converted into 32. Now in third case N2O3, here N2O3 nitrogen is present 28 grams, so no need of multiplication. In NO2 again we have to multiply by 2. So when we multiply this compound by 2, nitrogen will be 28 and oxygen will be 64. Okay, and N2O5, in this compound already nitrogen is present is 28 grams, so no need of multiplication. So now we have fixed the mass of nitrogen. So we can see that here the mass of oxygen used 16, 32, 48, 64, 80 means 16 1s are 16, 16 2s are 32, 16 3s are 48, 16 4s are 64 and 16 5s are 80. Means when a atom combined with the fixed mass of the other atom, it always shows the simple whole number ratio. Okay, so this is the law of multiple proportion. Okay, what is the law of multiple proportion? That when two elements combine to form two or more compounds, then the different masses of one element, okay, this is the different masses of one element which combine with the fixed mass of the other element bear a simple whole number ratio. Okay, simple and important definition. Next law is law of reciprocal proportion. Okay, so to understand the law of reciprocal proportion, I have taken three elements here: hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. The speciality of these three elements is they can combine with each other. Okay, like hydrogen can combine with sulfur and form H2S. Hydrogen can combine with oxygen to form H2O. Oxygen can combine with sulfur to form SO2. Okay, so suppose we are talking about hydrogen and oxygen. So when hydrogen and oxygen combine with each other, the mass of hydrogen used in the formation of H2O is 2. Okay, H2, as you can see, H2, and oxygen is 16. Okay, 8O16, that's why 16. And in the formation of SO2, in the formation of SO2, the mass of sulfur used is 32 and the mass of oxygen used is also 32, as we know that the atomic number of sulfur is 16 and the atomic mass of sulfur is 32 and oxygen is 8O16, but here 2 oxygen atom is present, that's why 16 into 2 32 and 32 is for sulfur also. So suppose we fix the mass of oxygen, okay, like multiplication, law of multiple proportion, 32. So if we fix the mass of oxygen 32, so we have to multiply these two number by 2. Okay, so when we multiply these two number by 2, it will be 4:32. Okay, so in this case, as we can see that the mass of oxygen is fixed here. So the masses which are reacting with the fixed mass of oxygen is 4:32. Okay, I am repeating, the ratio of the element which are reacting with the fixed mass of oxygen, the ratio of the masses of sulfur, hydrogen and sulfur which are reacting with the fixed mass of oxygen is 4:32. 4:32. Okay, so 4:32 can be written as 1:8. This is equation 1. Now second case. In second case, hydrogen is reacting with sulfur and form H2S. So in the formation of H2S, hydrogen is used 2. Okay, H2 as you can see, and for sulfur 32. Okay, so 2:32 means 1:16. This is our equation 2. Now equation 1 is 1:8 and this is 1:16. This is our equation 2. So law of reciprocal proportion. What is law of reciprocal proportion? Law of reciprocal proportion says that the masses of the reactant, okay, the masses of the element, not reactant, the mass of the element which combine with the fixed mass of the third element is the simple whole number, is present as a simple whole number ratio with the masses when they react with each other. Okay, so here the masses which they are using in the formation of compound with oxygen is 1:8 and this is the ratio of masses when they are reacting with each other, so it will come 2:1. Okay, so when two elements combine separately with a definite mass of a third element, then the ratio of their masses in which they do so is either the same or some whole number multiple of the ratio in which they combine with each other. This is also an important definition. Next and last law is Gay-Lussac's law of combining volume. This law says that when reacting, then when the reactants are in the gaseous form and also product is also in a gaseous form, then they bear a simple whole number ratio. Like here H2 is present in a gaseous form, Cl2 is also present in a gaseous form, and they react with each other and form hydrochloric acid. Okay, so in this reaction HCl is also in a gaseous form. So according to this law, they will bear a simple whole number ratio, means as you can see 1 mole, 1 mole and 2 mole means 1:1:2, and similarly N2 plus 3H2 converted into 2NH3. So in this reaction 1 mole of nitrogen is taken, 3 moles of 1 1 mole of nitrogen is taken, 3 mole of hydrogen is taken, and 2 moles of ammonia is formed. So 1 is to 3 is to 2. So 1 is to 3 is to 2. So this is the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volume.